So infrastructure as a code overview. So just to give you about the Terraform, it is not very old coding language which is there. Okay, it was released in 2014, and this is I'd say the 6th year. Okay, of Terraform, developed by HashiCorp. The latest public release right now is .13. Okay, and .14 is still in the beta version. Beta release is there. Okay, although it is available, but not for the production to go. There are around 125 plus providers there. Now providers are basically nothing but your cloud vendors. So major cloud vendors are there. You can see any cloud vendor, you name it, it has got some footprint on the Terraform. You will find the provider plugin and all those things ready-made available for the Terraform. So your AWS, Azure, Google, Oracle, Alibaba, or DigitalOcean, all these are the cloud vendors which are already available uh, on the Terraform. So what you have to do is you have to just configure the provider and start using those things using your account, whatever the account and all those is there. So Terraform is basically written in Go language, okay, at the backend, and the language which you will be using it for the coding, that will be HCL language, the HashiCorp configuration language. That is what you will be in, that you will be writing the code, or it can be JSON as well. So if you follow the Forbes list, the Forbes Cloud 100 list in 2018, after releasing in 2014, Terraform was listed at number 13. Okay, and from 13 it has jumped to 4 in 2019 list. So you can see the big jump of HashiCorp cloud infrastructure automation, which has been listed as at number 4. So right from 14 to 13 to number 4 in just 1 year. So that is the reason why Terraform has become so much required, because it deals with the automation and it has a focused coding language which basically deals with the infrastructure provisioning. Okay, so nothing else is there. It is meant for infrastructure provisioning. So before we start or get deep dive into Terraform, first we need to understand the concept of infrastructure as a code. Okay, so we know that any application or anything you want to generate or you want to make it, you do coding. But for the infrastructure coding, that sounds a bit unusual. Okay, like how you can do the coding for the infrastructure. Okay, so that is where infrastructure as code is there, which basically deals with the resources and the infrastructure on which you are running the application. Okay, for running the application you need an infrastructure, and for creating that infrastructure you need to have an automation coding is there, which is known as infrastructure as a code. So this is basically deals with defining and provisioning of the infrastructure. It also deals with the management of that infrastructure. Okay, it is having the version control is there, the descriptive model is there, or even the imperative model is also there. So there are many tools available as a part of infrastructure as a code, which you can use for managing, for deploying, for uh, recreating, or for destroying, even decommissioning of your infrastructure. So anything which is on-premise or cloud or infrastructure, you can have, if it has got a programmatic interface, then that is infrastructure as a code. So usually, if the perception is infrastructure as a code basically deals with only cloud, but that is not the case. You can even have the non-cloud infrastructure as well, like the VMware. Okay, so you can use, say, the Terraform for provisioning the VMware as well. Okay, or even you can write your own provider, make a programmatic interface for your existing on-premise infrastructure, and can use infrastructure as a code. So that is also known as an infrastructure as a code. So this is a key DevOps practice, infrastructure as a code, where we will be just now seeing the SDLC lifecycle of DevOps. There you can see where this infrastructure as a code lies and what are the tools used for that. Okay, so when to use infrastructure as a code? So when you have got, say, with the development, with everything right now, you are seeing that the infrastructure as a service resources under that is increasing day by day. Okay, for each and everything. Like in my organization, 3 years back or 4 years back, we have only one instance for the demo purpose, which we give it to the customer or anything. And we have now expanded to the automation on everything, like on the robotic side, on various other things, where we haven't, even developed some products as well internally for our organization. So it is a infrastructure and the PaaS integration, which gets integrated with the SaaS model. So those things are there, and we are doing it for multiple customers, and we are doing the regular activity for that. Always we do the repetitive task. Okay, so now what we have done is we have automate everything. We have with the DevOps tool, okay, and as well as on the infrastructure side as well. And we are now managing everything by using the agile methodology and using our infrastructure as a code. So we just have the basic things there, and we just need to run the code, and directly the instance get ready, and then the integration is there with Ansible, and then the deployment happens. So everything happens. But yeah, earlier it was just one or two, but now that has crossed around 50 plus. So within a less span of time, your infrastructure is getting increased. So to manage those things, you definitely need some automation. And then earlier we used to have only one cloud provider, we were using it, but now we have got 3 cloud providers which we are using, because each customer has got some or the other requirement or something which they have it, they are on the multi-cloud. So for those things to integrate it and to implement it and make it compliant, we need to have a multi-cloud. And infrastructure as a code is basically the common tool which basically goes with all the cloud providers. With that, we also require, the regular updates, and all those are going on. So we need to have a regular continuous improvement, continuous integrations are there. So adjustment on the infrastructure side is also very much required to maintain the compatibility, to maintain the desired result. We need to go with the versions as well. So regular adjustment on the infrastructure side as well is needed. And apart from that, documentation, because what we are doing is that is one of the deliverable from the customer, and we do the things from our end and deliver and hand it over. Later on, they are going to manage it from their end. So that documentation for our infrastructure is not there. Okay, and whatever the code you are writing, that code is nothing but the documentation of your infrastructure. The code is nothing but the documentation, you are doing it for your infrastructure. And yes, to make the collaboration between the administrators and the developers and the IT operations and everything. So this is like one of the best way where you can optimize the collaborations between various teams. So it is a DevOps thing where the development and the operation teams work together to get the desired result. Right, so infrastructure as a code, just a high level overview where we do the infrastructure automation. So developers are there, you are going to write the infrastructure code. We maintain the version control, maybe either whatever the provider you are using, like S3 has it. The object storage of Oracle is having the version control inbuilt, or you can use the Git. So all those version controlling of your code is there, so that you can track the changes. The testing is there. The push or pull architecture we follow, like all the infrastructure tool has got the agent based architecture, or they might have the push pull architecture through which they push or pull the code on the automation server or the APIs or whatever it is. And via that you manage the deployment and the infrastructure either on the cloud or you are doing it on the on-premise. Right. So what we are achieving with our infrastructure as a code, the benefits are basically the speed. You go ahead and create the virtual machine and add 1 TB of storage. The same thing if you have code, you just run it, within seconds you will get your infrastructure up and running. Okay, so speed with which you get your infrastructure up and running or your deployments on that infrastructure via code is pretty fast. So that is where you save a lot of time. Okay, apart from that, consistency. The same code is going to be deployed for all your dev, test, or prod or whatever it is before it you make it live to the customers. So the consistency at all the levels is maintained. So there will be no configuration changes, there will be no incompatibility, but there is always the consistency. Accountability is there. One person is going to manage the infrastructure or write the code, or maybe you have a team which have got their own login, so you don't have to worry about that who did what. Okay, it is all going to be there, recorded, and is maintained in the logins. You will be knowing that okay, who has run which code and what are the changes which has been done. Efficiency. So as we say that okay, it is pretty fast and the efficient way of deploying the servers, deploying the code, provisioning the servers. So all those saves time, and at the end it increases the efficiency between the teams through which it is all the teams which are involved in that. Apart from that, cost to maintain the servers, to do the deployment and all that is not there, because everything is in the code. Whenever you want, you can spawn the server, you can give it, and there will be no change in that. Okay, the infrastructure as a code, when you are basically doing it, it follows the immutable architecture. Okay, that is the philosophy we follow. What is that? We are going to cover it in a while. Okay, don't worry about it. So that is going to save a lot of cost, and you always have an option to do the refactoring of your code. Maybe you want to downsize the configuration, you can do that very easily. You are seeing that most of the time the server is not getting used, or is less than 50% in use. You can bring it down to a lower server, so there also you are going to save a lot of cost. So that kind of migration and those things are pretty easy when you are following the like infrastructure as a code policy or practice.
We really hope that you liked the video. If you are interested in this training program, I would highly recommend you to go and attend a free class on Terraform for Beginners certification and demo. To register for this free class, you need to visit k21academy.com/terraform02. Now let me show you what we will be covering in this free class. We will be starting with an overview on cloud and DevOps. Then we will be covering the different cloud automation tools that include Terraform, Ansible, Chef, and Puppet. We will also be covering a live demo on VM deployment in AWS Cloud using Terraform. Then we will be covering the different job opportunities that will be there if you go for this training program. Now let me demonstrate how you can register for this free class. First of all, select the event date and time. After that, click on enter your name and enter your name. After that, enter your email ID and then your phone number. Then click on yes, save my seat. Once you click on this button, you will be redirected to this page. Now, this means that you have successfully registered for this free live class. Now, I'll see you guys at the free class. Thank you.